This is why PE firms do what they do. They come in, they roll up a bunch of companies, they chop out, and then boom, now the company's worth 10 times and they flip it. And they make tens of millions or sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars.
Talk and knowledge is one thing and action's everything. I tell my team all the time, that's what I look at is how much action are you taking? If you have the right attitude, you have the right activity, you're going to win.
You have to build an environment of trust, of growth, of accountability. And I always say champions love a losers hate it, right?
When you think of 10 pages a day, it doesn't sound like much. But here's what the power of this is. I'm 15 books in, never missed a day. I'm not going to miss the rest of my life. It will change your mindset. 10 pages is enough to give you direction for that day.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Coach Carroll. Welcome to another episode of the Sales Factory. I'm pretty excited for this one. I got my man Justin Cook in the building. This guy is an entrepreneur through and through. I've known Justin a really long time. I'll let him share his quick story with you here shortly. But Justin was actually my second client ever in Carroll Media. And so found him online through Facebook and, really coached this guy. I was like, you got to be making videos. We'll talk more about that in the episode because Justin is just probably out of anybody I've ever worked with has went all in on social. And I know it's helped his business tremendously. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about this, Justin, but not just your insurance business, but also just how you've grown your network as well. But man, I'm super excited to have you here. I know we're going to cover some great things and you got a new book coming out. So welcome to the Sales Factory, my man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, you had to push me a little bit on the video a few years ago, but I'm happy you did.
Yeah, a few years ago, bro. That was like a decade ago. It was like 2016, 2017. Time flies, right?
It was close to 10 years ago.
Yeah, man. Crazy, man. Time flies when you're having fun. Well, Justin, for those of my listeners that don't know you, maybe some of my guys that are listening are in the insurance space are like, hey, I know that guy. But maybe give a quick little background of who you are, where you're from, and kind of what you're working on these days.
Sure, I appreciate that. Originally from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, born and raised. Been in the insurance industry for close to 20 years now, and have multiple offices, and been blessed to be able to grow those offices over time, and also into the real estate space, and working on diversifying revenue and income, and building a different pipeline there. I also have a recent book that I'm getting ready to publish. I'm excited about that, and a coaching program to follow that. So just a few things going on in today's world, but excited to be here and be with you.
Yeah, man. On top of being a dad, I see Hudson dribbling and shooting like crazy all the time. Playing some hoops like his old dad used to. And then Lola, I think does she do dance or cheer? Or what's I see sometimes your competitions or whatnot with that.
Yeah, they're my, I was thinking business wise, but Lola and Hudson, to back up a bit, they're my number one priority. And they come first. If you follow me, you know that. I back it up with actions every day. And Hudson's a competitive basketball. He plays on a local team, Iconic Elite. I'm blessed to be able to coach him. He's 10. And then Lola's into volleyball. She was several years in dance and transitioned to volleyball recently.
Nice.
And she's fell in love with that. And so we're busy doing the sports things on the daily, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it, man. Yeah, and oftentimes, Justin, like I get my clients. I just had one the other day that was like, I don't want my kids on social media. And I get it. Like I've got some buddies that've got 10 million subscribers on YouTube, and like they've got stories where people have parked outside their houses and they've had to get restraining orders and stuff. Like there's a lot of weirdos on the internet. I won't argue that point, but there is something to be said about just being who you are and not always having to like filter, well, is this what I want to be on brand? Do I want to, it's like I posted a picture yesterday. I went and picked up the landscapers here today. I went and picked up 5 yards of mulch in a dump trailer and pulled the trailer with my Hummer EV, right? And so many people are like, bro, you're buying an EV truck for as a farm truck. I'm like, yeah, man, things 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. But it's like, it's just who I am, right? I don't say, well, how's this going to be perceived? Is like, this is what I'm doing. And to me, man, like if you're going to have a personal brand, it's easier just to live your truth and who you are, right? Than trying to constantly always try to put a filter on something or try to limit, what's out there. I wanna share this story, Justin, is when I started Carroll Media back in 2016, I've told the story before. Like Mark Smith was my agent at the time and my mentor, and I went to him and I was like, "Man, I've been running these Facebook ads for a couple of years. Like this thing's awesome. Like I think you should let me try this for you." I did it. He was like, "Hey, you got to go help more agents with this." And so it took me 6 months to get my second client, but that happened to be Justin Cook. And so Justin's like, "Hey, man, I see you on Facebook," and it was kind of a cut dry. I wasn't near as polished back then. There's a few more F words that flew around. They still get out every once in a while, but I think it was one of my fired up videos that I made while I was driving. And Justin's like, "Hey, I really like your vibe. Like, let's chat." And I was telling Justin, I was like, "Hey, man, social media, like, this is gonna be the future, right? Like this is the wave that's coming." And I just wrapped up my book last night, The Hunter Head Game, and in there I talked about the three waves that we've already went through. Which is, the first one was access, right? Access to information, which was the internet. You guys remember the old AOL CDs, right? It's like free 15 minutes of internet or whatever. The second one was attention, which was the social media wave, and now the next wave that's coming is the artificial intelligence. But this social media wave, like, Justin, you're one of the first early adopters, man, of like putting yourself out there, making videos, getting on videos, talking. And I remember distinctly you telling me at one point, you're like, "DJ, nobody wants to see me out in a tree stand hunting or fishing or whatever." And I said, "Justin, they will, man. People will identify with." And you actually had a video not too long ago go viral, right? From the tree stand of like a deer walking through. Talk to the people about that.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree with more with your comments, and thanks for leading me in that direction because I do believe that just being you, I think so many times we want to filter, we see other people's lives, we compare. We've all been down that road at some level, and my advice there is just be you and don't apologize for it.
Ooh,
I think that's the confidence of that people quite honestly buy. They don't want a fake DJ. They don't want a fake Justin. They want you, and they want you genuine. And that's one reason. There's several reasons I share on social, but just to show my true life and what I do every day. And quite honestly, it gives me documentation. Like that I have habits of sharing my memories every single morning, and I also have a gratitude exercise every morning that I do that ties into those Facebook memories. And it's powerful to be able to look back at what you did 3 years ago, 4 years ago, how fast your children are growing up. It allows you to sit back and have a gratitude mindset where it starts your day off. And that's literally a huge part of what I do, why I post. And you're right, the following of what you're doing with social is building trust, right? People buy from people they like and trust, right? And in my business, I'm not trying to sell you anything. But I do believe in everything that I do, whether that's in the insurance business or coaching. And I think that that belief is bought through being genuine and being yourself and not trying to be somebody you're not.
yeah, man,
But
it's spot
back
on.
to
Talk.
the hunting. Yeah, the hunting. I'm sorry, but that was a long response to the first part of yours.
No,
But the
I love
hunting
it.
video, yeah, I mean they always get more attention because I think people are interested in that. I'm in a rural area, so it's pretty common, and a lot of people relate to that. And so during a season of the year, it seems like I have a lot more activity when it comes to the hunting videos, and obviously I enjoy it as well. And so I think just constantly being yourself and being active, consistent. I early on a few years ago, people were like, "Well, you know, I post, I don't get much out of it." Well, it's just like anything, DJ. You know that it's like the consistency of you have to show up. Right, I didn't get 5,000 friends 10 years ago and a lot of followers from just halfway doing it. And I think you have to anything that I do, that I do all in.
Yeah, man.
That's just where I'm not probably gonna do it.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, I remember those conversations about like, yeah, man, just whatever. If you're in a tree stand, whatever, and then like, like I said, with that video of that buck walking underneath of your tree stand, I don't know, I don't remember how many I mean, it was over 1 million views on that video. And people might say, well, yeah, so what? It's like, so what, man? Like, people don't realize whether it's 100 views or 1 million views, there's a real person on the other end of that mobile device, right? And sure, maybe that's some 13-year-old kid in Oklahoma that'll never do business with Justin, but it could be a guy that owns a 6,000-acre farm in Illinois that calls Justin up the next day and says, "Hey, I like your vibe, man. I'd like for you to quote my homeowner's policy on this big farm." Right? It's like you never know, and that's the power of social media. Is it puts the hand in the power in the hands of the creator. And I've also had clients that'll say, well, I don't want to put that out there, man. What if somebody's against hunting? Like, what if, and I'm like, so what? Are you that flippy floppy that like you're going to talk about what you're interested in or change up who you are based on who's sitting in front of you? That to me, man, is not building a strong foundation for your business. I think the strongest foundation you can build for a business is being unapologetically, like you said, not apologizing, unapologetically who you are. And then it goes from, chasing the customer to attracting the customer, right? Attracting people to you that want to do business with you. Yeah, man, that's it's super powerful. And again, just encourage you right now. If you're like, man, I'm on the fence. I don't know how to make content. I don't know what to make. Justin and you guys can go look at his social profile. This guy, once he was like, all right, I'll make the it wasn't like one video a week. It wasn't like a couple. This dude's banging on social media multiple times a day, man, and just getting massive amounts of attention from it. Justin, have you like talked to him about like how it's maybe played into your overall marketing? I love the documentation piece as well because I look at that as well. Having social media since I started my first business, it's like looking back and I'm like, time to swag up and go mow some yards, from like 2008. It's like, oh man, that was the hustle back then.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big piece of the pie. I advertise in all different a lot of different ways, and I have in a rural area, so I'm probably known from billboards to wrapped vehicles, and social is a another huge piece. I mean, think about how long it takes to post something and how many views you can get, right? And I really started believing into that, and just knowing that it's brand awareness, right? I mean, people are going to do business with people that are where they live. Where do people live? Go into the doctor's office, sit down, and look at everyone. Look at everyone. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I think there needs to be breaks, but I can tell you that any free time, the general public, they're going to be on a device. And
Yep.
if you're not there, I guess my question is why not? Like if
Mm.
you're in business and you're into growth, like, you're missing the boat, and just to be direct, I mean, uh, you got like DJ said 8, 10 years ago, I had to get out of my comfort zone, and I think everything boils down to pushing yourself to get outside that comfort zone because you can be really good at something, but to get to another level where you want to be, it's going to take a different type of person sometimes. And
Mm.
I know I've experienced that myself with doing things outside of the insurance industry because real estate, that's something totally new to me. Um, but becoming a professional real estate investor and really diving in and working on it, it took I had to enter a lot of rooms that I knew 0 people, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people at my, part in the business and that years, they wouldn't do that because it's fine, it's comfort, it is where it is, but I wanted growth, I wanted diversification, I've always loved to coach. I wanted more, and wanted something I truly owned as well. So it's all those things. I don't think they're going to happen without you feeling uncomfortable. I
Mm.
told my team this the other day, DJ, is they see me very confident in what I teach them and what we train, right? And I said, with this coaching program, do you guys think I'm like 100% comfortable every time I step in front of 20 very successful multimillionaire entrepreneurs? I said, do you think that just? comfortable the first time I do it and smiling, and they're like, "Oh, probably not." I said, "See, that's the thing. If you're always growing, you're always going to have a level of being uncomfortable. And when my hands start sweating, and I know that's a good thing. I embrace that, right?
Mm,
And I think if you don't embrace that and you run from that, it's going to be hard to get over any hurdle that you're trying to get over.
yeah, man. That's so fire. Yeah, I that discomfort and training your brain to be, you know, on the hunt for that because you know on the other side of it there's progress. It's such a powerful lesson, not just in marketing and putting yourself out there to make a video, but just in life in general, right? Putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations is where you grow. And you're probably, man, like hard charger, let's go get it, like throw yourself in the middle of it. You know, you're one of my top 10 friends that, I can always lean on for inspiration in that, man, because you know, cook dog don't play around, right? Like you're gonna go get it, man. And so
Here's
uh,
what I do know, DJ. You know this as well as I do is that, talk and knowledge is one thing and action's everything. I tell my team all the time, like that's what I look at is how much action are you taking? If you have the right attitude, you have the right activity, you're gonna win. Like
yeah,
whatever but what happens is, the rejection or the objections or whatever up here gets in the way of your action. And I consider one of my probably biggest strengths. It can be a downfall too, but I'd rather have it as a strength. Is I'm action oriented. I've
yeah,
I've I've had a lot of things not work out because I'm action oriented. You know what? I'm okay with that.
yeah,
I'm okay with that because I've had a lot of things work out.
yeah,
And if somebody that pauses and it takes too much time or just doesn't make a decision, they usually just stay stuck. And
yeah.
so I would encourage your audience, just man, you got to make it a habit to take action.
That's
Uh,
that ready, fire, aim approach, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and I know what's the worst. I mean, I look at it. I have a different mindset than I had 10 years ago, but I don't want to have regrets. Like if I think it's a good idea, I've got enough experience. Let's do it. It doesn't work
yeah.
out. I'm going to learn from it. So that's just my like literally my mindset on the daily on any kind of transaction.
I love it, man. That's to tie it back into a current event. It's funny that you see all these cuts that Doge is making and Elon, right? And all these people are like, you can't just come in and ready, fire, aim. That's not how this should get done. It's like that's exactly how it has to get done. Otherwise, we talk about it for another 4 years. The administration changes, and then we're still paying Social Security to people outside the country and to dead folks. Like you have to sometimes come in with a meat cleaver and go to town the same way in a business, right? Like, if businesses get fat and sloppy, man, this is why PE firms do what they do. They come in, they roll up a bunch of companies, they chop out and they build synergies, and then boom, now the company's worth 10 times and they flip it to mid market and they make tens of millions or sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. It's like they don't sit around a boardroom for 4 years contemplating on the strategy that they're going to use, right? They know that all good things come on the backside of action, and that's just a life lesson that I think everybody can take to the bank. Let's talk about this coaching program. I saw you mention that you got a coaching program that you're launching, man. I'm super excited for that. I know this has been something that you've been passionate about for years and something that's been in the works for a long time. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Freedom Beyond Wealth is the name of my book and also my coaching program. And, really, it's not designed, it probably will attract a lot of insurance agents, really successful ones. But it's really designed of, what do you want? And what does freedom look like to you? And, I hired a professional coach to give you some history on this a couple years ago, DJ, and it really changed my life. I was a I still am high motivated, driven, high engine, go, go, go. And, I think I was so focused on accolades and trophies and everything. And there's nothing wrong with going hard after what you think you want. But a couple questions that changed and this is part of what I will look to help people is, when my coach asked me, Justin, who are you? I'll never forget that simple question, right? And this was early on in the coaching. And, I went on to answer that question with what I did. what I want, what I did on a daily basis. And, you know, I step back and look at that now and go, why did I answer it that way? I said, the reason I answered it that way because I was so focused on the goal. Like that's it. And instead of really enjoying the journey and who am I? You know, I'm a fun, loving, dedicated, driven dad. You know, that's what I am. And I had to step back in my mind and think about when I was a kid, when I answered that question. And then, one of the other questions that changed my thinking is, what do you really want? And this leads into the coaching. What I'm going to be working on is, when you sit down and you think about what you really want, a lot of it boils down to time. And where do you want to spend your time? And how do you spend time? And how do you manage time? And what is that freedom? And it's different for everyone, right? It's not the same for everyone. But what I really want to coach to is that old me, DJ, that old, that driven high entrepreneur probably has some gaps in their personal life, maybe their family life, and they truly want this, but their actions are doing this. And one of the things I've been blessed with, man, is a great team, my team, and it's not accidental, right? But I'm I'm working and I'm not in the office, and I can say that openly is I don't go to the office that much. I can get a lot more efficiency done right here in my living room than I can in an office. And so that's really helped me leverage like other businesses, such as coaching, such as the book, such as real estate. And I think a lot of people out there, not just in this insurance industry, but in life, are so tied to the rat wheel that they don't know how to let go. And so the coaching businesses, I want it to be deep. It's not, how do you sell this? How do you sell that? I'm looking to help people with peace and freedom. And until that sounds kind of like generic, um, until you dive in to those things and, at the end of the day, I want to help people, drive more revenue with more time and freedom.
I love
And
it.
that's exciting. That's what if I'm on the other side of the table, that's really what I wanted too. And there's a lot of different tactics and mindsets that you can do to help with that. So just a little bit about that. I'm excited. Looking to start that here in August, and my book's released June 3rd. So that's extremely excited about both.
Nice, man. I love it. Yeah, oftentimes being from the blue collar contracting world, there's always the saying of like getting off the truck, right? It's always the contractor is always like, hey man, get off the truck. Like, build a team that can do the stuff. I see that the same with like insurance agents, right? It's like get out of the office, right? It's like let your team run it so that you can actually work on the business, not in the business. And I'm the same way, man. I'm here in my studio on my farm, and a lot of times, I get a lot more work done. Now, I think there's a yin and a yang effect, right? It's also really cool when I'm in the office with all my team members because like that kind of that on demand coaching of where, maybe Kevin gets off of a call and I'm like, hey man, this, and this. And oh, okay, cool, right? Which only works, by the way, if you have coachable team members, which you have to build, right? You have to build an environment of trust, of growth, of accountability. And I always say champions love accountabilities, losers hate it, right? Because if you're holding each other accountable, if you're holding your team accountable, then everybody wants to get better and they want to do better for everybody. So I love that, man. What's the name of the book again?
Freedom beyond wealth.
Freedom Beyond Wealth. I love that, man. That's a catchy title.
I think another thought, DJ, on that same
Yeah.
topic is, I'm appreciative for different seasons in my life, right? Like,
Mm,
you know, just because of where I'm at right now, man, you know me, I grinded, you grinded. That's why it attracted me to you because you were a grinder, right?
yep.
And we like to get in the ring and go, and that's what got me to where I'm at. So, I don't want others to hear like you can't compare your chapter 1 versus somebody else's chapter 10. Right. You're looking at somebody that was a team member, looking at somebody as an agent for many years that produced for 10 plus years, and then went on to lead a team, and then has stepped back to look at life differently and coach in that way. So, depending on where you're at, I don't think, everybody wants instant gratification nowadays. And I just don't believe that's, I mean, yeah, if you can learn something quicker, but I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest learnings of my life have been the most challenging things and the most painful. And you don't get that without life a lot of
Yeah.
time. You just had a little one, right?
Yeah.
And life changed,
Yeah.
right? My life changed when
Got another one to be here in about 6 weeks. So it's
you got
like,
another one coming shortly here. So I just say, don't get discouraged. Don't get, if you're not where you want to be, win the day and then win the next day. And I
yeah.
think the key is just to have a growth mindset that you're always trying to develop. And specifically for my coaching, I'm looking for to help those folks that are had a lot of success, but they're like, man, there's something missing here. Like
Mhm.
I've I've won all these things, but I just feel like I got to win the next one or life's not good.
Mm.
And believe it or not, there's a lot of folks out there, and you're looking at one of them where, I wasn't depressed. I was just always chasing that next to feel like I won. And I would say, if you haven't read The Gap in the Game,
Mm.
highly recommend that book as well. And you got to start measuring backwards a little bit or a lot. Look how far you've
Yeah.
came. Appreciate that, and that actually excites you to be even more driven in the future.
Yeah. I've noticed too, Justin, on my journey, that when I slow down and use gratitude, and become really thankful and become kind of introspective to look at the progress that we've made. um you would think that that would be like, well, dude, like, no, 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 you just got to go hunt, just go, go, go. It's like, listen, like, Justin was in the turkey blind this morning, right? It's like when deer season comes around, Justin isn't just going out to the woods for the first time all year long, grabbing his rifle and just walking out the door and like getting out there and hunting, right? It's like, no, man, like you've got to stalk, you've got to plan, you've got to look at what's worked in the past, right? There's so many, it's so funny, Justin. You and I both have books coming out in June, which I think is awesome, man. It's like the Hunter Head game. When I was writing that, it's like there's so many things with hunting that actually where you would think it's like just it's action oriented, it's a yin and a yang because yes, you got to be action oriented, but also just like running on a hamster wheel doesn't get you anywhere either, right? The hamster taking a shit ton of action, man. He's running his ass off, but he's not going anywhere. And so I think that introspective and some of that just comes with maturity, right? Like I remember the first time I ever meditated, it was probably 2017, 2016, and like I went in my office and I just laid down on the floor and I just like listened to a breathing meditation on YouTube. And I remember at the beginning of it, I was like, this is so fucking stupid. What am I doing? Right. But by the time it got done, I'm like, whoa, I feel different. Right. And like, that's become a ritual for me is like prayer and meditation. I think you mentioned don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 10. That's super important too, man, because if you're a young hustler, if you're, and when I say young hustler or young entrepreneur, listen, you could be 60 years old and be a young entrepreneur, right? You could be a couple years into whatever this business thing is you're trying to do. Um, the same thing goes ahead is like you're gonna have to take some losses because that's where the lessons come from, right? And so you're gonna have to get beat up. You're gonna have to have some loss. You guys have heard me talk about my fitness center that I lost. $500,000 worth of revenue and six-figure business at age 27, right? Like I thought the world was over, but it wasn't, man. And now, I'll be 37 this year. 10 years since that happened. I look back and I'm like, dude, that was nothing, right? It was like it was a blip on the radar. And I feel like that's how life works, man. It continues to stack. And Justin, I think you're going to help a ton of people with your coaching program, man, because there are a lot of people out there that are. It's almost like a drug, right? It's like you take that hit, and then it's like you just got to chase that next high, chase that next high. Business can get like that, right? It's like you set this income goal, and you get there, and then it's like, well, the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it's like, man, what are you doing all this for, right? Like, And I used to
I
think
really do.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I think even today, I look back at why am I coaching? I had
Mm,
that question the other day. Why are you coaching? And everything I do today is to make an impact. It's not about, it sometimes results in financial success, right? But my why is not to make X amount or else. And when I get to X amount, I expect to feel happy. And I think truly early on as a young individual, if somebody would tell me, like, hey, you're going to make X amount of millions, and you would be like, oh, yeah, I'm happy. I mean, you don't know unless you study it and you get there,
yeah.
right? And people say, well, so why are you doing the why is the impact. The why is Lola and Hudson listening to me on calls like this. The
Mm,
why is all those things really comes back to my kids. That's where you'll hear me talk about my why is they see me coaching, they see me talking about abundance and really legacy and teaching them all these lessons, writing a book. A book is John Maxwell said, I never planned on writing books until I figured out it's going to affect a whole lot of people that I never meet.
mm,
And I thought that was just so powerful when he said that because, you know, I don't really, I mean, yeah, I would like my book to be distributed as much as possible. Why? Not to make the income, but to really change the lives. Because when I'm 6 foot under, people aren't going to care how much money I have.
right.
But hopefully they do care. It's like, man, I read this or I heard this from him, and I followed him, and he helped me change my life. The best messages I get have nothing to do with income. They have everything to do with, man, Justin, I've been following you for 2 years. I don't even know these people, DJ. Like, never met them. The people that you've never met are probably you're making the most impact.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
would
gotta
agree with that.
remember that, and especially, when that's what drives me. I'm blessed and I worked my butt off to get to where I'm at, but I could retire and not do what I'm doing. But I love to do what I'm doing and make an impact. And that's what this coaching is all about. And you're going to see videos coming, more and more content around that as it gets closer to August. You know that, but that's what I want for people is to experience that freedom of, quite honestly, I do what I want and
Mm,
I do what I want when I want. And, that's a lot of times it's this.
yeah.
I enjoy these talks and podcasts, but, a lot of time it's in the turkey blind this morning. And in November and December, it's a whole lot of time in a deer blind.
Yeah.
So I take pride of, especially the main question I'm really going to dive into is what do you really want and what are you doing to get there?
I love that, man. I love that. You have to start with that why because that will become your anchor. On your good days when you're just fucking crushing it, your why won't be that important, right?
Correct.
Your success, your momentum will be able to carry you. But the slumps, as I call them, right? Like you played sports, Justin. It's like when you're in the slump, man, that's when you need your why more than ever. And I was gonna say, when when I was younger, I thought getting married and having a kid was like the finish line. Like, cool, like those are the last big milestones. But dude, after we had Willow, I was gonna take a month off. I've said this before on the podcast. Like, I was planning on taking a month off once Willow was born. 3 days in, Tori and her taking a nap. I'm like, I gotta fucking build, man. I gotta make some shit. I gotta get after it. And it kind of came this rationale that it's like, it was the starting line, not the finish line. Like I'm just now getting started. And I
Yeah.
also think God has a way of protecting us from ourselves sometimes, right? Of like, not allowing us to experience these lessons or these messages until we're ready for them, because it's like, you know how many times in life do you see a friend or you see somebody that's like doing stuff that's not good for them, right? And it doesn't matter how many times you tell them not to do it, it's not until something really bad happens or there's like an aha moment that they see it. And I think entrepreneurship, business ownership, I think there's and really just in personal development. I know you're a big personal development guy. Um, I think that's just a huge piece of it is like understanding that it is a journey, right? And we don't all know like when we're going, man. Like it's, could be tomorrow, could be another 80 years from now. I want to
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think your habits, you talk about self-development, DJ, the biggest thing that I could, give advice on, or one of the biggest things is, your habits. And mine are very defined in the morning, unless I'm turkey hunting. Then they get shifted a little bit later, but I do the same habits. I read 10 pages every day, started about 7 months ago, should have started about 17 years ago, to be honest. And, I get exercise in the morning, and sometimes you and I are messaging each other at that same time. And what
Yep.
you do is you find people that have this freedom, that have this peace, that have success, whatever you want to call it. They're very intentional with their time. They're very intentional of what they do to make and how they feel, right? They put themselves in position to win, and they put themselves in a position of feeling well. And I think that starts with your mindset each and every morning. And so I couldn't, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Like, don't if you're listening to this and you're overwhelmed and you're way stressed out, is start tomorrow with one thing. Go exercise for 30 minutes. Read 10 pages for the next week, and then stack, because over time, I know we all get off. Like we're not perfect,
Yeah.
but I always know the habits that get me right back into the what works. So yeah.
Yeah. I want you to talk about Justin, because I have seen where you're reading the 10 pages. And I do audiobooks a lot of times while I'm out mowing or, if I'm working out or whatever. Let's drop some knowledge on them. What's like some of the good books that have finished here recently that you could recommend to the listeners?
Yeah, like I said, one of my favorites is The Gap and the Gain. But the opposite of The Gap and the Gain, I think these two combined are extraordinary, because they're extreme on both sides, and I think it takes both to win. The
Ooh,
Gap and the Gain is all about measuring backwards and appreciating life, and we don't know how long we have to live, and live in the now. Right? Start with gratitude, be thankful, look at how far you've gotten back, and then you got Relentless, which is Tim Grover, and it's all about being a cleaner and being. I'm reading it with Hudson right now, and it's all about intensity. It's all about action. It's all about showing up. It's all about the small thing, right? And I think it takes both, right? I don't think you can, live in this measure world of measuring backwards. To get them to that measuring backwards, I think it does take that relentless attitude. So those are two of my favorites. The other one, um, is by the same author. Two 10x is more powerful. I can't 10x over 2x, or it's the same. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was really good. Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
love. I've been following Dan for a couple of years, and I really enjoy and really love his strategies on time. And what that did for me, DJ, on the time thing, it kind of enhanced. I was doing a lot of that without even knowing it. He's doing it at a different level, but it enhanced me. It made me make tweaks, right? So I was down this path, but then I tweaked this or tweak that, which those small tweaks can make major differences. So those are a few that I would tell you that,
Love it.
when you think of 10 pages a day, it doesn't sound like much. But here's what the power of this is. I'm 15 books in, never missed a day. I'm not gonna miss it the rest of my life. You got it on your podcast. Is it will if you're in it will change your mindset. 10 pages is enough to give you direction for that day. It's enough to not. I don't have my phone, right? My phone goes away, and I actually this. Some people might be embarrassed of this, but I don't care. Is I read out loud to myself. in the
Interesting.
house because, and here's the reason why. I have a reading comprehension disability. I've had it all my life.
I'm
And so
same, man.
when I read silent, I have to really, really love what I'm reading. And
Yeah.
I like a lot of this, but I may not love it.
Yeah.
But if
Or read
I
it 3 times.
Yeah, yeah, right. And if I read out loud to myself with intention, I retain it because I'm not only reading it, I'm hearing it. And
Wow.
I think that's been powerful for me. Kelsey, sometimes she's like, she don't say anything, but I mean, it's not normal to sit around your house and read. And but it's another one of those subtle things for my children that you don't know how many times they've came downstairs right when they woke. Hey, Dad, you just get done finished reading? Hey, they're used to this reading. Well, Dad, what are you reading now? Hey, can we
Yeah.
buy Hudson? The other night, I got the gap in the game. He said, "Hey, when we finish Relentless, what are we going to read next?" Because I've been reading with him before bed, and I think that's the power. That's the legacy piece, man.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that you're teaching your kids and the ones that are around you. Your actions matter, and so yeah, I think I never believed, I never thought I would be. I used to do audio as well, DJ.
Yeah.
Here's what I found is my mind would wander. A lot of still does reading every once in a while, but if I read it out loud, it focuses it.
Yeah.
You know, my mind would wander over here a lot, and so I would encourage maybe not to read out loud if that's not your thing, but for me, it works real well.
I love it, man. So a couple things on that. Relentless, we're actually reading that as a team this quarter. Each quarter, I read a book with my team members, and then we do like a debrief. So pretty excited about that. My brother's already read it. I think I tagged him in one of your comments when you were reading the book about it. You guys kind of went back and forth some big takeaways. Highly recommend Dan Martell. Buy back your time. You know, I'm in SAS Academy, and just the knowledge that guy has, man, it's so powerful. The dude's so far ahead. I mean, light years ahead, and just it's just you can tell there's no fluff, there's no BS, man. Like the information is straight, and he operates on it. And we've done a ton of it. Like I mean, I've got an assistant that checks and organizes my inbox on my emails. She handles the calendar, and it's tough. Like when a little segment on that, like having an assistant, it's so easy to go, fuck, man, I'm spending more time trying to deal with this assistant than if I just do it myself, right? And I would argue, sure, in the beginning. But if it's just like training a team member, right? Like, yeah, you can answer that phone call and deal with that customer faster than if you slow down and take an hour to teach the team member. But if you teach the team member properly, you'll never have to answer that phone again, right? It's the same thing with your assistant, like even to the point where I was actually at SAS Academy a couple months ago, stayed out late. It was the last night of SAS Academy with all the guys, and was just networking and talking and drinking a little Kentucky bourbon. And I woke up late and missed my flight, and so I literally just messaged Christine and I was like, "Hey, I missed my flight. I need you to rebook me, get me back home as fast as possible." While I'm packing my bags up and getting ready, phone goes. Psst, psst. She's like, "All right, I moved you from Delta to American. You're going here to here to here. You'll be home at this. It's about 3 hour difference." I'm like, "Cool." Off to the airport I go. Right? It's like being able to buy back that time and have that person. And I even had a business guy tell me recently. He was like, "Hold on a second. So you pay her 40 hours a week, even if she doesn't work 40 hours a week?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I need at 6:30 a.m. when I miss my flight on a Saturday to be able to message her to take care of it, right?" It's like it's that stepping over hundreds to pick up tens, man. Some people, they self sabotage themselves. So I love that. I'm gonna try reading out loud because I have Justin. I will tell you, I have done before where I'll have the book open and I'll listen to the audiobook and I'll kind of read along with it, and that's helped, which I think is kind of the same thing that's happened there. But I'm missing the verbal, right? Because like if you speak it, and I know this is why you love teaching, right? Oftentimes speakers, coaches, teachers, we're selfish. People just don't realize it because if I learn something and I do it, but then I come teach Justin or somebody else about it, I'm actually reinforcing that to myself. And so I actually get better because I'm teaching it now. And so I'm almost thinking, I wonder if there's some type of a feedback loop there that happens to where not only are you visually reading it, you're speaking it and you're hearing it. So it's like this 360 approach to retaining that information. And I'm 100% with you, man. If I'm mowing, I'm listening to Jordan Peterson's "We Who Wrestle with the Devil," or "We Who," I think that's "We Who Wrestle with God." Um, it's like he'll say something very profound. I'm like, oh, and I'll drift and think about it for 10 minutes and then I'll come back to the book. So maybe
Yeah.
like doing that out loud would be helpful.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think that's why I started reading out loud. And I actually just tested it, and just my brain. One day I did it silent, next day I'm like, man, I remember much more. And you made a great point. People ask, why you want to keep going and build companies, and Bill is when you teach and when you really pour into others, it pours into yourself as well, selfishly, and it keeps you sharp mindset wise, right? Like, I can tell you, I feel better talking the last 45 minutes with you than when I started, because I had a million things going on, and it focuses you in the right direction when you're teaching and you're talking about positive direction, and you're talking about growth, helping others, giving. There's a lot of positive vibes that come from that, and I think that's the feeling that I want every day. We only have so many hours, so many days left, and why would you want to live in a negative state? And
Yeah.
that's one thing I focus on. I've heard it before, but I really, if I'm having a bad or like some challenges, right? I really don't try to have a whole bad day. I might have a regroup, right? I missed the turkey this morning. I'll admit it. I'll be vulnerable, right? Like, missed the turkey, and I wasn't happy about it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into DJs. I have to regroup. And 10 years ago, I might have been mad about that all day.
All day.
But I'm smiling, and I'm happy. It's just a different mindset than I used to have. As part of that's maturity. I think, DJ, it really is. As you
100%.
get older, you realize life's short, and you better enjoy each and every day, because it's a blessing.
Yeah, I love the quote that you can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone, right? And it's like, you might be at a place in your life. That's why I said if people get like in a slump, man, especially on sales team. I'm like, go help one of your team members close a deal. That'll get you out of your slump. Just be a part of a deal that gets closed, right? If you're negative right now, you're depressed, you feel sad, like, man, just get up, take a shower, and go to the homeless shelter and like just give back, serve some meals, right? Do something to where you help your fellow man. And again, I'm no theologian by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that also like God puts us here to build his kingdom. And so part of that is building up the people that's in the kingdom and doing greater good. And if you don't buy in and subscribe to that, at least you take the word old Zig Ziglar, rest in peace, Zig Ziglar. But you can get everything you want by helping the other people get what they want in life. You do that by giving back. And so that's super powerful stuff, dude. I love it, man. Justin, anything else before we wrap up, man, that you want to share with the audience?
No, I'm just appreciate you having me on the podcast. Number one, and number two, I'm excited to help people through the coaching program, and grab a copy of the book. It's set to release June 3rd, and like I said, I'm excited about the impact. It's exciting time in my life, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it, and so I thank you again.
Yeah, man, absolutely. If people want to find you online, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, the best way is through social. I mean, I'm on there every day. So you'll see more content come out about how do you register, if you're interested in the coaching side of things. It'll be very obvious, but just connect with me, follow me. I'm on there daily, so I don't try to hide. I'm wide open. So
Love it.
I look forward to connecting, and if you want to send me a message, I will reply as well.
Yeah, man. I've found the successful guys, man, they're the fastest at getting back to you because it's like, it's whack-a-mole. It's like I want to close these loops, close the loops, close the loops. And so Justin, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate, we've worked together for years. You've become a great friend to me. And I've learned a lot and we've helped each other, in tough times. We both went through them. And I love our early morning messages. We'll message each other at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning sometimes. And so guys, I highly recommend go grab a copy of this book when it drops in June, and link up with Justin online. Justin, I appreciate you coming through the Sales Factory, man, hanging out with us.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me.
All right, sounds good. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, this is the call out. Go do it right now. You don't want to miss these episodes when they drop. We drop a new one every single Wednesday at 5 a.m. Put it in your earbuds, put it in your headphones, get some positivity, some motivation, get you rocking and rolling. Make sure you like and comment and share it out on socials. It helps us get more people involved in this movement in the Sales Factory so they can achieve their goals. Until next time, I'm Coach Carroll. Hustle, it's worth it.